Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Matt Dykstra, CEO and founding partner of TreDigital, where we make digital media simple. When you hear the words digital media, does a wave of stress wash right on over you? If it does, trust me, you're not the only one. Businesses, small and large, are struggling to put the pieces together to get the most out of their digital media presence. As difficult as this is, there is help, and we can provide it. TreDigital is a digital media strategy company, and we provide training, one-on-one consulting, and digital strategy. Today, though, I'd like to introduce you to our 5 steps for efficient digital media strategy, part of our training program. I hope this can help you out and maybe entice you to learn a little bit more. Let's get started. Step number 1, find your voice. Essentially, this boils down to, if you don't know your company, why should your customer? You need to know what makes your company special. Why should your customer want to visit you? What's your story behind your company? What personalizes your company to make it something different? If you know this information, you can use it to attract your customer with far more success. Step number 2, claim your digital turf. I've heard too many accounts where a company waited before it got onto social media or to claim their vanity URL on Facebook. Once you have your company name, don't wait. This doesn't mean you need to start blogging immediately or start posting immediately or start tweeting immediately. Go to Twitter, get that handle. Go to Facebook, get 20 or 30 friends to like your page, and then get your vanity URL. Make sure any place your audience might possibly be, make sure you claim your turf. Because you don't want a case when anybody who tries to find you on Facebook finds your competitor. Step number 3, strategy. You can have all your dominoes lined up, but if you didn't use strategy, you may never reach your mark. Make sure that when you're doing something, you know why you're doing it, and it's aimed at a goal. Figure this all out ahead of time before you make your first move. If you've determined that your clientele has a heavy presence on Twitter, then by all means tweet, but know why you're tweeting. What is the goal? What do you want your clientele to do when they see your tweets? If they're heavy on Facebook or heavy on Google+, same thing. Step number 4, listen and respond. In a recent survey, 60% of Americans stated that they expect companies to respond to their feedback and comments. Unfortunately, only 40% of businesses actually do this, and those who do it in varying degrees. You need to respond to those. If you're a restaurant and you get a review, if it's a great review, thank them for the great review. If it's a bad review, don't hesitate to tell them, thank you for your information, we're looking into it, and we hope you'll come back again. People love to see that a company actually cares what they have to say and think. So make sure you're part of that 40%. And finally, measure your ROI. Remember what I said about in strategy, if you're on Twitter, make sure you know why you're on Twitter. Well, if you're on Twitter to try to increase traffic to your blog, which, by the way, if you use tweets to advertise your blog and you use Facebook posts to advertise your blog, the average social media campaign doing that sees a 144% increase in traffic to those blogs. That's just a side note. Jumping back to the main point. If that's why you're doing it, that's great. But you need to know that's why you're doing it, because then you can measure it. Everything you do should have a purpose. And if you know what that purpose is, then you can measure it. And that means then you can tell whether or not you're being effective and if it's worth your efforts. Well, that's just a basic overview of the 5 steps we recommend. I hope this has been helpful to you. I'd like to invite you, if you did find this helpful, to join our Digital Media Boot Camp. In our boot camp, we cover the tools, techniques, best practices, and strategies you need to succeed with your digital media and your digital media campaigns. I hope you'll join us, and I appreciate you listening. Again, this is Matt Dykstra, CEO of TreDigital, where we make digital media simple.